Decisions, decisions, decisions. What are you going to do? Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'll be talking to you about the DECIDE model of pilot decision making in my basement. All right, well, there we go. It's another great day in the basement here, and I had this I didn't know what to do for my little screenshot there, so I had this D. And what the DECIDE model is surprise, surprise, it's an acronym. In aviation, an acronym? No. Yes. Believe it or not, another one. There's a million of them. So, so this has to do with pilot decision making. And this is a term or a way of making a decision that I learned back at college, way back in the day in our pilot decision making classes that we took. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what any airliner trainee they would get this at some point in their career, the DECIDE model. So we're just going to start off. I wanted to have this and then have separate letters, but I could put it on a whiteboard and spell it out, but I don't have that. I got something better. You betcha. The cardboard, it's back by popular demand. All right, so the DECIDE model. So now there was a couple of, when I was researching this just a little bit before doing this, I found that there was a DECIDE model that was used for doing other decision making. So this one is specifically for aviation, and there's other ones out there for the DECIDE model it's like how to make a decision in general, but this one's for aviation. Okay. Super pilotish, surprise, surprise. Of course it would be. All right, so we got our DECIDE model. Okay, and so each one of these letters stands for something. And the first one is detect. Detect. Okay, so you're flying along in your airplane. Oh, hey, Jackie Pavel. Hi. So you're flying along and you detect a change. Something's a little bit out of the ordinary. You're not all just fat and happy up there, just flying along, and all of a sudden something happens. So you detect a change. And what I'll do is I'll kind of go through this first, and then I'll give you a little scenario how you might actually use it in actual life. Okay, you detect something's wrong with the airplane. Maybe nothing wrong, just a change of some sort. Okay, the E stands for estimate. Okay, so you're going to estimate. Is this estimate the risk level? Is this a change I have to worry about? Is it cool? Like, no big deal. Gauges are still in the green. Okay, not a big deal. And this next one here is choose. So maybe you estimated that the risk level is a little bit higher. So we're going to choose. What do you choose? You choose an outcome that you want for the flight. And, this is the way they teach it. And the outcome is always, I want to get safely on the ground, right? That's it. That's the outcome of every flight. I was thinking about that. The purpose of every flight is to get on the ground. Isn't that weird? So anyways, but we want to get on the ground safely because what goes up must come down. So we're going to choose what outcome do we want? We want to, or you know what? This could be if you're in the military or something, maybe your choice might not be to get on the ground. It might be I'm low on fuel. Let's call in a tanker. I never thought of that one. Okay, the next one is identify. Identify. Okay, so this is where you're identifying solutions to your problem. And this is where we're going to be making a plan here. Okay. I'll go back to that a bit later. Yeah, so you're going to identify solutions that you can use for this, and you're going to start setting up a little plan to deal with this change. Okay, then you make your plan, then you do your plan. And then as the plan is going along, you evaluate. There we go. Evaluate. So I identified solutions. I made up my little plan here. then I'm going to do it. And we're going to keep an eye on it kind of thing there. So we'll just go over that one more time. Detect. We're going to detect the change. Some kind of change. Any change. Next one, you're going to estimate the risk level. I don't know if you'll be able to read this. Maybe. Is it something you got to worry about? Running out of cardboard over here. Okay, you're estimating your risk level. Choose. What outcome do you want? Yeah, you'll find that I repeat myself a lot, but I've found that as a flight instructor, you repeat yourself a lot, and people remember what you repeat. Because the more you repeat it, it goes in your head more. Identify. Okay, so we're gonna make our plan here. Solutions, and you're gonna make your plan. All right, you got solutions. Okay, you're gonna make your plan here, then you're gonna do the plan. Do the plan and evaluate. All right, there we go. Evaluate. Hey, how's it going? All right. So now my little scenario that I'm going to come up with here is that, okay, maybe we'll just hang out here. All right. So here's a little scenario for you. And this is something that happened to me while I was flying along. Everything's all cool. And then one of my students says, hey, is that light supposed to be on? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, we detected something here. Okay, I'm going to get a little fictional on here, but it is kind of based in reality. So it'll be kind of what if, and yes, I did this, a mix of it. So, okay, I did actually, or my student detected the alternator light was on. So maybe you have a generator in your little airplane, and that charges up your battery. So, okay, what do we do here now? Estimate the risk level. Okay, now I know in my little airplane that I don't need an electrical system for the engine to run. And if you ever do have an instructor that you're flying with, or anytime you want to give it a shot, just turn off the master switch. The engine will still run. But if you're a little nervous about it, do it with an instructor. But yeah, it'll get noisy because now your noise canceling headset's not working and stuff like that. The radio's not working. But okay, so estimate the risk level. Hey, we got this light on. Okay, now we're losing juice out of the battery. Choose what outcome do we want? So we were already on our way back from our lesson on the way back to the airport. So we'll just go back in and land. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Engine's not gonna quit on us. But okay, we're losing juice in the battery. Generally, on most airplanes, you're good for about a half an hour. If you turn off really heavy use electrical items, maybe your strobe lights, if they're not LED, those are nice. They don't use up too much juice. But if you got an old school strobe system or landing light or even anything that's transmitting from a radio that uses a little bit of power there. So you might want to take it easy on the transmissions off your radio and your transponder too, and that's sending out stuff. So you might want to think about that. Choose what outcome. We're just going to head right back to the airport here. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little fictional, where maybe things weren't going as it turned out. We just went back and told the tower, hey, we might be losing our radio here, but we turned off our strobe lights and just went in and we had lots of juice. Turns out and we also went through the checklist and stuff like that. And it just didn't reset. So, okay, so we're going to identify, choose what outcome. We're going to go to the airport. Identify solution. Okay, now what's our plan? So let's just say I got my alternator light on there. Okay. I'm getting pretty close to the airport. I'll just go back in there and talk to those guys and get permission to come into the zone and land. But what's my plan here? Okay, we got an emergency here. It's not a huge pressing emergency, but it's still on our emergency checklist. So, you do what you can from memory, and then you whip out the checklist. make sure you go through everything. And one of the things that usually, if you have an alternator light on, it'll be turn off the alternator, turn it back on again. There's a switch for that. And it's not like your car, but in an airplane, you can switch it. You can switch a lot of things off individually, just in case if there's a problem like a fire, electrical start shorting out a little wire, you can just turn off that thing and everything else will work. So, okay, what's our plan here? We're going to go we go through all of our okay, the plan is going to be we're going to hit the emergency checklist, and then after that, if that doesn't work, then our next plan is we got something wrong, we should probably tell somebody. We're going to the airport anyways, we'll tell them about our problem. If they ask, are you declaring an emergency, yeah, it's kind of up to you, but when in doubt, yeah, declare the emergency. It's on your emergency checklist, right? And I was thinking about this too. If you ever have an alternator failure, it's not the end of the world. But if your communications, if your radio stops, your battery's dead, you can't transmit. That's a lower level of safety. For example, even if maybe you're landing on some runway and you got a big crosswind and it's super gusty, maybe it's nasty, you go off and something happens, you're playing, you got a bad landing, you get a flat tire or something like that. If you land, anything can happen like that. And now you don't have your radio. So you're stuck on the runway, or maybe you're flipped over off the runway or anything else. It's an electrical issue. Is there a fire going on there? You don't know. So, hey, when in doubt, declare that emergency. You'll never get in trouble for declaring an emergency. And just say, nope, I thought it was the safest thing to do at the time. And once you declare an emergency, you can do whatever you want. Okay. And I was told that at a safety seminar from Transport Canada. So I'll assume they know what they're talking about. But yeah, so you might have to declare an emergency. If they say, do you want, you'd be like, yeah, send out the trucks. So, and that's what those guys get paid for, the rescue and firefighter guys. And it's good practice for them to get out there and chase you down the runway. So, okay, so you make up your plan, whatever that may be. And always be telling somebody if something's going wrong for search and rescue if things go bad. If things go great, hey, no problem. But at least someone's out there. You're not alone. People are helping you out. Okay, do the plan. All right, I did my emergency checklist. Still got the light on. I'm losing battery power. Okay, I tell the tower, hey, I'm going to declare an emergency. I don't know how much battery I have left. So I might be losing communications, and they'll say, okay. Well, look for the green light for a clearance to land. Okay. And all right, now you got your plan. So we're going out, you're flying along. How's it going? You can see the airport, you're getting there. And you're like, okay, yeah, everything's going great. And then, you go in there and land. Everything's cool. But now if you're evaluating here's a what if. Okay, you're still talking to the control tower, and now you can't hear them. You made a transmission, but you don't hear them. Okay, now what do you do? So what you would do in that case is, okay, I'm not going to be able to get a clearance to land. I'll have to be looking for a light. But you never know. They might still be able to hear you. So keep transmitting until they might not hear you, but they might. So if you say like, yeah, I don't hear you, and then, okay, they can understand why you're doing what you're doing. You could squawk 7600 communications failure. You can put that on there. They might not read it from the transponder, or maybe they can get the transponder, but they can't get your radio transmission. That'll give them more of a clue that you actually do have a comm failure. So, you can kind of do that, and that's all in the part of the evaluation. So, and another good thing, I was thinking, okay, let's go through the scenario some more. You land, everything's cool, great, and you learn about, okay, I got to memorize these light signals for my test, and they asked me about that maybe on my flight test, and then, okay, so you get your light signal cleared to taxi, but how do you actually do that? Have you ever done that before? Probably not. So what you do is you get off the runway and you get on, clear the runway, you get on the taxiway. Now you're still not cleared to taxi, unless you're at a uncontrolled airport. And just go do whatever you want there. But yeah, so you're not cleared to taxi. So how does the tower know that you don't have your radio and stuff? So what you do is you point the nose of the airplane towards the tower. So if you ever and point it like directly at the tower. So if that's 30 degrees off or 45 degrees off the center line, they'll say, you got something wrong. What's going wrong? Oh, he already told me about this, that you could be having a comm failure. They shoot the light gun at you, away you go. Or conversely, oh, and I didn't even know, I didn't even know that was the proper procedure for that until a little while ago, because I had a I had a student that wasn't the greatest at taxiing. I think it was. We got off the taxiway and oh, that's right. Yeah, we skidded right around the corner. That was funny. Then we skid around the corner and I'm like, whoa. Greg, you get in the brakes, you can hear the wheels locking up. We're doing some kind of Tokyo drift around the corner, and we end up like cockeyed. And it just happened to be like pointing at the control tower. Yeah, that's right. And then I was like, okay, well, we're clear of the runway here. Let's do our post landing checks and stuff. And then they asked the control tower asked, "Oh, is everything okay?" And he must have seen this wicked "I have control" kind of taxiing. And yeah, so later on, I called him up at the tower and I said, "So what? I mean, were you going to write me up for bad taxiing or something like that?" I called him up on the phone after, and he said, "No, it's anytime you point the nose of the aircraft towards the tower, we think you have a communications failure." Oh, okay, I didn't know that, but now you do. And you can flash your landing light at them too if you had that still, and they'll know something's wrong. Yeah, so there's that. Now another scenario that could also happen to get your taxi clearance off in that case would be if you already had your emergency your fire and rescue people out there, or what is it, air rescue and firefighting. If the truck comes out, there's no word from the tower, and the guy in the truck might say, "Hey, is your radio not working?" And you'll go like, "No, it's not working." And he might just get on his radio and say, "Yeah, follow me. Where are you going?" And you follow the truck back to wherever you got to go. Probably somewhere to get your alternator fixed. So, anyways, that was like a little tabletop exercise, a little decide model scenario for you. And so that could be used for any change that you detect. You'll estimate the risk level. So it's no big deal. Ooh, this could be a big deal. Choose what you want. 90%, 99% of the time. Okay, I want to get on the ground safely. Identify. So you're going to make your plan here. Do I land at that airport or do I land at that airport? This one's closer. That one's got mechanical. I've been to this one before. I know there's a good mechanic there. So you're identifying, coming up with the plan, coming up with the best solutions. And this is where if you're in a two crew environment, you'd be bouncing ideas. Pilot flying and pilot not flying, we bounce ideas off of each other, unless it's something really critical and time sensitive. You do your plan and evaluate, and then so if something weird happens here where maybe you had a low oil pressure, high oil temperature, and you could anticipate running out of oil here, the engine could seize. Okay, then you're evaluating it as you're watching the temperature gauge go up, oil pressure go down, and your new decision, if you have an engine failure, you're going to have to do this pretty quick and basically get it into a field. So, or something else, aviation's kind of a weird thing that you can, I always say, and I always have said that you can just plan and plan and plan and plan and plan. And then something goofs up and you do the best you can. And so, so that's about it. Just wanted to talk about the decide model and kind of give you an example of how you would use that. And that's about it. It's the weekend. And glad Shecky came in here today. Haven't seen you around for a little while. And okay, that's about it. So today's Friday, long weekend, but that's okay. I'm still going to be back on Monday because I'm doing this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And great. Have a nice weekend, you too, Shecky. All right. I'm gonna start my weekend right away. I'm off at noon. Okay, cool. Thank you for watching. Bye.